Hello chess friends, so I'm back with a brilliant chess endgame for you guys. This is white to play, and actually this position is from a real game played in 1954. So it was in this position that white resigned. Yes. Why am I showing you this problem? Because this position, it's because exceptions are more important than rules. And as a rule, we are taught that two connected pass pawns on the sixth rank or third rank are more than enough to win against a rook, and it's actually true in most of the cases. They are very strong, and they win against the rook in most cases, especially when the king is offside. As you can see, white king is definitely offside. Can't really help, can't really help in stopping the pawns. So yes, that is true for most of the cases, but there are exceptions to this. For example, here is one. Unfortunately, white resigned here, but there is a way that white can play on and draw the game. So go ahead, give yourself a few seconds and try to guess the move that white should play. At least guess the move, and let's see if we can get it right. So all right, so I hope you guys come up with the correct move. In fact, there are two moves here, one of which loses, one of which draws. So there is rook to b4 check, and rook takes on b3, capturing the pawn. Which one is correct? Well, let's have a look at rook takes b3. This one unfortunately loses the game. Why? Because now we get into a very famous position. This is a study, the Saavedra study. Black simply plays c2. Now you can see the b1 square is in control. You can't stop the pawn from here. You can't play this. The best you can do is just rook b4. And now black can win the game by a sequence of brilliant moves. King to d5. Again, white doesn't have the access to this square or this square to stop the pawn, so he has to continue giving checks. Black just goes up the board, rook throws in a check, but now we can play king to c5 and king to c7, and now the rook has to move, and we will promote winning the game. Queen definitely is powerful than the rook and wins the game. So rook takes b3 in this position actually loses the game because of the Saavedra study, which I've covered previously on my channel. I'll just post the link in the description so you can always check that out. But the correct move obviously is rook to b4. So we are just giving a check to him, and there are several moves that he has. I'll just rule out this one. King to e5 is a terrible move. I won't even cover that because both the pawns drop off easily. So let's have a look at king to d3. In fact, king d3 here, either king d3 or king e3 are equally miserable because after king to d3, white takes a pawn on b3, threatens this one. There's a pin over there, and no matter where the king goes, king can go to c2, d2 doesn't really matter. If white wants a draw, there you go. You take the pawn, you sacrifice your rook, and you have the draw in your pocket. So going back, the same happens if the king goes to e3. So let's not look at that. King e3, king e5 obviously loses because we just take this pawn followed by this one. We are just in time to stop that one. So we have covered d3, e3, e5. So there are two more squares. Well, the king can go to c5 obviously, but now you have rook takes on b3. We are threatening to take the pawn. He can't push it because if he pushes it, pardon me for that. If he pushes the pawn, the problem is rook to c3 picks up this pawn and wins the game for white. In fact, that wins. So he can either play king c4, king d4. Both the moves are fine. But then if you want to draw, it's always in a pocket. Take the pawn, sack the rook. That's a draw. So going back, king to c5 not working as well. The last move we can look at is king to d5. Looks like okay, not a bad move. But now we can take the pawn. Now this pawn is threatened. If he goes forward, we'll just play rook c3. We stop the pawn perfectly on time, and we will win. So in fact, the correct move here is to play either king d4 or king c4, after which if you want to draw, as you know, sack the rook. That's a draw. So in fact, white made a huge mistake by resigning in this position. It was definitely possible to draw, and this is one of the exceptions to the rule of the rule that two connected pass pawns on the sixth or the third are better than the rook. Yes, that's true, but there are exceptions, and we must know the exceptions. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. More videos are on the way. Until next time, bye.